Right on.
So I'm here with Ireland's favourite referee, Mr. Niall Fox. How are you doing, Niall?
I'm doing all right. Like, getting by, as they say.
Yeah. What have you been up to through all this lockdown and all that kind of crack?
I have been stuck in my house for the majority of like lockdown. Only taking like journeys when I need to, because I unfortunately am considered high risk, and
Okay.
multiple members of my family that live in the house are high risk as well. So we try to minimize the risk, like going out. So it can make it very boring lockdown.
Yeah. So you're only going out right east to the shops and that's kind of it, is it?
Pretty much like shops and the odd like little journey out there just to get out of the house and
Clear the head.
not lose my sanity, as it were.
So we know you mostly from wrestling. How did you get into wrestling?
I got into wrestling back in 2006. It was through an advertisement that was on then Wrestling Channel on Sky TV.
Yeah.
And there was an advertisement for a school in Baldoyle called Irish Whip Wrestling. Just seeing that, I was very interested, and I was roughly like, I was about 15, about to turn 16. So I was brought down to the place by Terry Thatcher to introduce me to some of the lads there. Some of them were trying to get me to start straight away, but I wanted to wait until I was 16 and just start, because that was the legal requirement. So I wanted to do it all above board, as they say.
Yeah. Was Simon there, Simon Rochford?
Simon Rochford, during the time I was there, he was only there during show days and the odd gym show. I didn't really like deal with him, and when I did, you'll get mixed stories. So like, like my fair, I went there to train as a wrestler. So obviously, because everyone does, they want to be a wrestler. My first match, I walked up to him, like being a total noob, and just like, so what name am I going by, or am I going by my own name? He took a look. He just looked me up and down, and then just Mickey Magpie.
And was that the first name? Yeah.
That was the first name that came to mind, and I laughed in his face. I like, because I thought he was like just joking, but he was dead serious.
Wow. I remember going to a few IWW shows back in the day, and Mandrake was there, and remember the Supermodel as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were at Rivals when I used to go to that. Where was it?
Yeah,
one in Dublin somewhere. Anyway.
Like they just like Drew and Sheamus did. Like those two lads, Mandrake and the Supermodel, they did the run as well. Like they were the main event for Irish Whip for a good time as well.
Both good wrestlers as well.
Mm.
Do either of them wrestle anymore? I don't think they do.
No, neither of them do. I know that both of them had a trial, but nothing came about of it, unfortunately. And
yeah, that's a shame.
Because like both of them were good. Mandrake especially was very good.
Yeah, he had a good character.
He had it, yeah. He had the character. He had the body. He had the skill set. So, maybe it was his accent. I don't know. Could have been it could have been anything.
I think he has a martial arts school now. I think I seen on Facebook or something like that.
He runs a taekwondo school, and he's very successful at that. So
yeah, very good.
At least he hit the ground running.
Yeah. And how did that transition from wrestler to referee happen?
The transition started around 2010. I had been on and off with wrestling because of school or college, but I always somehow kept getting involved with wrestling. Promotion came by DCW, Dublin Championship Wrestling, and they wanted me to bring me in as a mass wrestler, which I was happy enough to do, but it was also a chance for them to double up and have me ref as well.
Okay, yeah.
So I started doing it during those shows as well, at the same time, I was also doing main stage wrestling as well. And eventually it started to the point where the wrestling was getting less and less, and the refereeing was getting more and more. So it's just that weird, like it just went so fast that, like, obviously I took to it a lot better than most people would. That's the way I would consider it.
Was it down to a lack of referees, or was it that you were really good at refereeing, or what do you think it came down to?
I want to say it's lack of referees. I do. I want to say it. Like, and hopefully by chance I just got lucky. I was good at it.
Like there's a lot of shows where you, like you'd be the only referee, of course. Like,
yeah, like unfortunately, like there isn't. There's not that much. Nobody goes with the mentality to be a referee. Everyone wants to be a wrestler, and when they get the realization that I'm not going to be a wrestler, they don't want to be involved in it, so they just get out. Which is unfortunate, because a lot of people don't realize that even if you are not able to wrestle, your talents could be in somewhere else. Like I've had a few people that they start, obviously, like when you start as a wrestler, like you think, like, all right, I'm not getting this down, but like I may not be a good wrestler, but I can talk. So therefore, like, some of them have that natural ability to transition to, say, a commentary, or to be a manager, or to, like, anything that's
ring announcer even.
Yeah, it's still involved. Like, you're still being involved in wrestling, but, like, unfortunately, it's not the wrestling aspect of it. So,
how much do you miss it at the moment?
A lot.
Yeah.
It's all I know how to fucking do. So, it's a lot of people think of it as, like, it is an addiction that you slowly grow to have over time, and the longer you do it, the more it becomes prominent, because when you've done it for so long and then it's taken away, then you're just like I don't know what to do with myself. Like, most weeks I'm usually out, like, in a different part of the country, like refereeing in a show, or doing other things. But now with lockdown and COVID and just no events whatsoever, basically a lot of people are just sitting at home, either getting into ridiculous good shape, or or other things as well.
Yeah.
So,
I know plenty of people in the entertainment sector that are just sitting at home, bored after arse, really. You know, and it's a shame, because the trajectory of OTT was just going up and up and up. You know, building up from what it was to what it is now. Do you think? I was talking to Keith about it. Do you think when it does come back that you would have missed a few steps, or do you think because, right, it's back, let's fucking go for it, people will flock to it? What way do you think it'll go when events come back?
A lot. I would like to be able to say that, like, let's just hit the ground running and just go, which we'll all have that mentality. We want to just go as soon as we get the green light. But
yeah,
yes, there is going to be some, like, lost steps. It's just the way it is. You've been away for the better part of a year, so of course you're going to have ring rust, as it is. But no, I think everyone's just dying to get back, and when finally we do get the green light, goddamn, like, it's going to be an exciting time. It really is. You're going to see a whole bunch of new faces, and goddamn, a lot of good matches.
Yeah, it's hard to know with restrictions in different countries and that. Would you be able to bring people even over from England or from anywhere in America, or will it just be Irish to start with? Or it's kind of hard to know what way it'll go.
Yeah, true that. Like, it's I would like to say that it would be in our best interest to, like, keep it local for a good while, and then eventually, as a way to protect ourselves from not having to unnecessarily bring someone over to do shows, and then risk them or risk everyone else in the process. So keep it local, give our young lads a chance to actually shine, and then eventually when things get back to somewhat of normality, we can finally start incorporating imports from England and America and abroad.
There's definitely enough talent on the island anyway to keep it going.
Oh yes, there is.
Who do you think is the most promising person, if you had to pick one that you're looking at right now that says, right, they're going to be the next big thing?
No, that's unfair. That's
okay.
unfair.
Okay, two.
I'm around like the majority of people in the country, so like
Yeah.
I get to see lads and girls that are like you may not see for a little while, but you can definitely tell that they're going to be something down the line. Now, I was talking to a couple of friends before. I was trying to like narrow it down, and the way I was trying to do it was that I did it by parts of the country. So for like up north, you have the likes of you have a Stephen Carvel and Blake Richards, two lads that are up there. They're the nicest guys ever, but like you can see that they have it. Like it's hard to explain it, but like they just have a natural ability for a lot of the bits of wrestling, and it just takes a bit of seasoning. And unfortunately, like in the time leading up, there wasn't a lot of places that were willing to take the risk on them because they're still relatively new.
Okay.
But I hope that when we get back, more places will start taking a chance on younger lads to really showcase what they can do. Because we've had Stephen Carvel perform for OTT, and we've also had him on one or two little spot shows for main stage, and he has it. Like to me, he is someone that I want to get on straight away. He'd be the one from up north that I'd really be trying to push.
Yeah.
In regards to they're not the only two. There is others up there that are like training their asses off and they're improving so much. So like there was a tag team up there called Sonic Boom, which for only like a handful of matches, like I was blown away because these two lads are doing so well, and I just think of the possibilities. What if I put them against More Than Hype? What if I put them against Rock Shandy? And they would have a cracking match, like absolutely unreal match, because they can go, like they're young, hungry, but like they can go and they've strong like foundations. So in regards to a tag team, that's definitely lads there. From Cork, you have a Matt Schuyler down there. Like he's very good, like a very good high flyer, small underdog, but like wheezy little bastard as well. It's before we went into lockdown, he'd done a heel turn, and we were only starting to kind of like see more of his personality come out. And it's a shame we didn't get a little bit longer, because I think he'd be able to really showcase his range in terms of like what he can do. If like you could put him in any kind of situation, it's like, right, we need you as a heel. Can you do Weasley? Like, we want you to do this. It's like, yeah, like, and people be comfortable doing that, just throwing them into those roles. Obviously, like from Dublin, like God damn it, like throw stone, you'll have like you'll hit like a talented person. Like you have future lads like Justin Daniels, like Callum Black. You have jeez, I'm trying. Like obviously, like yeah, you have your Terry Thatcher, you have your BQ, but like in regards to young talents, definitely an Alex Grayson, Danny Cross, Callum Black. Like he is gonna be like a big thing in Ireland. He really is. Like and I just.
It goes back kind of to what we were saying, that, you know, if it does have to be all Irish, even in OTT and the rest of the promotions for a while, it's in safe hands anyway.
Like fans are in for like a lot of good matches, and it's like, to me, I'm more excited about letting a lot of younger, like, new faces get onto the shows, because it's if we have the same people on all the shows, then it's going to eventually get boring. So therefore, you have to bring up new faces, and you have to, like, expose them to this crowd, because they're not going to learn and they're not going to get better unless they work against the best in the country.
Yeah.
Like, OTT would be, there's no two ways about it. It is the biggest company in Ireland.
Yeah.
End of, like, but you can't have new faces unless they're starting to work the scene, and it's very hard to do that when other places don't really book people, because there's so many just jumping for those little spots. But hopefully in the new year, we're going to see a lot of new faces.
Yeah. So what have you been up to during lockdown? I've seen a few videos on your YouTube channel and that. You want to tell us what you've been doing?
so out of the boredom, as it were, or lack of doing things, like, creatively, me and a couple of friends decided to start a YouTube channel, which is The Nerds Are Us on YouTube. And we do loads of different videos. Like, we do some podcasts, we do some shows in related to watching, either sitting down watching movies and reacting to them, or watching classic TV shows and reacting to them. But also we do deep dives of certain things, whether it be anime, video games, or the likes of conspiracy theories on TV shows, like classic TV shows. But we've loads of other, like, shows on it. That was something just that we got together and tried to do something, A, to keep the boredom away, and B, just because we thought it'd be a bit of fun to do things we like.
I seen a few classic video games there from, was it Here Comes the Pain or Shut Your Mouth? I think it was one of them.
Yeah, like, what was it? Just let me 2 seconds. Shut Your Mouth. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I forget as well. It's like, is it Shut Your Mouth or Here Comes the Pain?
And then there's Just Bring It as well, isn't there?
Yes, there is a Just Bring It. That was for the PS2. But Shut Your Mouth, we're doing a mirror universe, as it were. So we're going through the career mode of a particular superstar, and we happen to choose Eddie Guerrero. So the idea is to go through it and see what events change throughout that year. So that's around 2002. And it's just fun seeing, like, what happens, or what we can change, or what happens differently, as opposed to what did happen back in 2002.
The games were way better back then.
Yes, they were.
Yeah.
Yes, they were.
What do you think this AEW game will be like? I know people are saying the graphics look shit and everything, but it's all about gameplay for your first game, surely, isn't it?
Like, yeah, well, gameplay is good, but it has to be fun.
Yeah.
It has to be fun. Like, first and foremost, it's a video game. It has to be fun, because if it's not fun, you're not going to come back to it and play it more. But they have, like, people involved that were involved in the process of making WWF No Mercy, that was out for the N64. And to be honest, like, if they have them, I kind of have a feeling about the style that we're in for. But No Mercy was a very fun game.
They have Ukes on board as well, and they done those SmackDowns we were talking about.
Yeah, like, and this was it, three or four games that they're doing.
Yeah, I think so. A mobile game and a few other things as well.
It should be fun though. Like, I'm actually looking forward to it. It'd be nice to. It'd be like back in, like, the 90s or 2000s, where, like, you had WWF games as well as WCW and ECW, and then you had a smattering of other promotions in there. So it'd be nice to do that again.
Yeah, exactly. What do you think of AEW? Where do you think they are in terms of where WWE are? Do you think they're anywhere near them?
Well, they're a new company. They're a new company. I mean, like, people tend to forget that, like, WWE have been around for, fair part of what, 40, 50 years?
Yeah.
But, like, they have a massive head start on things. The only thing that AEW can do is basically try to do things a little bit differently, but unfortunately, they will have to lean into certain tendencies that WWE do. But I like how they do it. Well, first of all, I like the talent that they have because they've a good mix of basically the indie like the big names in indie wrestling, and it's nice giving them a platform when there's not many platforms at the moment.
Yeah.
I mean, AEW Dark is a great way to showcase independent stars that aren't signed and just basically say, like, here, have a look at this guy, see what you think, or have a look at this girl, like, see what's going on. I mean, if that wasn't around, you wouldn't have seen a couple of, like, the stars that you have now that, like, are big names or on the rise to be big names. But yes, they make some mistakes as well. I'm not gonna like blow smoke up their arse. They do make mistakes. The incident with Matt Hardy is definitely one.
Yeah, that was crazy.
That I felt that was a terrible way to handle a situation, and not only that, also piss all over the authority of your referee and their responsibilities.
Yeah.
Because a referee's responsibility is not only for like office to deal with times and make sure matches go a certain way. It's also to take care of the people that are in the matches.
Yeah, there's been a couple of instances of that in there.
Yeah, like what was the lad's name? He got knocked out just recently.
Yeah, I seen that. I can't remember who it was. Yeah, but he wasn't. He was barely moving. Like
that was like I won't lie, that infuriated me because if watching a very experienced referee in Rick Knox, and he's not even checking on him, not even really looking at him, and it's unfortunate because like Rick Knox is a very good referee, so it's just it's not nice how like certain situations get handled. But unfortunately, like as I said, they are going to make mistakes, and it's hopefully they can learn from them.
Especially with all it's big now in sport. You even seen last night in the soccer, a fella got his skull fractured, all the concussion protocols and all like that. You kind of need to adhere to them, especially in America with the NFL stance, WWE stance and things like that. They put themselves in a really bad situation with those two incidents anyway.
They're there for a reason. Like those kind of protocols are there for a reason. As much as people like to vilify and just hate on like WWE for keeping people off shows, it's for their best interest, to be honest. Especially if it's after an injury, like a concussion or something getting broken. Like you really want to rush out there, because you can't do that old school mentality of like, I'm going to finish the match, I'm going to work hard. It's like, no, you can't do that. Like, it's just not the way. If you want to have a comfortable living when you're older, then listen to them. They're trying to help you.
Do you think AEW would be as big if Chris Jericho wasn't there?
It wouldn't have gotten the buzz, as much buzz, if they didn't have him.
Yeah.
It would have gotten the buzz anyway for having the Bucks and Omega and Cody, but having Jericho on there, who is a legitimate like star, like worldwide recognized star, like that just elevated them in terms of like, all right, let's have a look at this product. If he's there, we better check it out.
And I think he's kind of brought them to a level now. So whereas if he needs to go on tour with his band and do whatever, he's probably in contract to kind of do whatever he wants anyway, that they'll still be able to carry their own now, I think, without him even.
I'd say so. Like, I think he's around because like he has done it in the past where he, especially in WWE, he's done it in the past where he's taken breaks on purpose to not only tour with his band, but also to recharge himself from the physicality of being involved in wrestling day in, day out. because I would imagine that someone that's been doing it for X amount of years, with all the travel, all the bumps, all the any injuries that aren't like reported, it's a great way to kind of recover and heal. So
I think he's one of the hardest working men in the whole show business industry. Really, he's always doing something.
Yeah, I think he's one of the people that just can't sit still.
Yeah,
they have to constantly be doing something, otherwise they will go mental.
So what happened? I've seen like lots of things online. I wasn't at the show. This Cody Rhodes thing that was a big meme and went all over Irish Twitter, Facebook, and everything. What was it all about?
So basically, what it comes down to is time. My job is to make sure that a match goes a certain length of time. So if they're supposed to go 15 minutes, I have to keep it in and around 15 minutes. Certain matches will get leeway depending on who's in it. Yeah. But really up to the boss man who, like which matches they are. Now, unfortunately, he chose that one to be a short time of 15, and I had tried my best to keep it under that, and people didn't listen.
Yeah,
that's really it. Like, people were told they had X amount of time left, they had to wrap it up, bring it home, and they refused to listen. So that's really it.
And how much longer did it last?
The point that if I was the booker, I'd be fuming.
Okay.
Because unfortunately, it takes the reason why matches have certain times is so that it doesn't take away from the rest of the matches on the card, but also so that people in the crowd can actually stay and watch a main event comfortably and not have to be like, oh no, I need to get this, or miss the entire like main event.
Yeah. And that was in the National Stadium, was it that one?
Yes.
Yeah. So people would be leaving to get buses probably around 11.
Yeah, it was getting very like, I mean, not only did you have Cody on the show like taking up his time, but you also had the books on it as well. And
yeah,
they're notorious for doing it, which is unfortunate.
Yeah. What's the sorest bump you've ever taken as a referee? Random question.
Sorest bump? Strange enough, like people would think like it would be like Walter, but it's not. The one of the worst bumps that I've ever taken actually happened when, so I think it was in Belfast. So it was a women's match. I think it was Valkyrie against Raven Creed, I want to say.
Okay.
With Debbie Keitel at ringside. So coming close to the finish, I'm supposed to get pulled out by Debbie. She pulls me out, but whatever way I got yanked out, I hit my tailbone. And that affected me for the rest of the show and for the next week. So that was actually the sorest because it affects how you walk and how you move. So
it was more of a freak incident, really.
Yeah, it really was. Like it was nothing on like Debbie's part. It just whatever way I landed, it just got me wrong.
Oh well, can happen.
Yeah.
What's your fond memories of the Tivoli?
I miss it. That's why. That's my fond memories. I miss it. It as they say, it was a shithole, but it was our shithole. And there's so like for some people like it's the likes of like Finn Balor's like surprise appearance, like that's a big deal, especially in the Tivoli of all places. Like could you?
I wasn't there that night. What way did that come about, or how did you find out about it?
I found out like an hour before, like that he was there. First of all, an hour before that he was there, I thought like okay, like he's injured, like he was healing the shoulder. Little did I know that they were actually filming they were doing the documentary of like the
WWE one, yeah.
Yeah, where like their documentary is recovery. Little did I know he was actually recording part of it in Ireland while he was there, and he was gonna actually do a surprise appearance for us. So, yeah, but
That must
like
have been mental in there.
it was actually like because it was one of those moments that the music like started because he had that long building music at the time, and people looked at the screen, looking at the video package, and thinking like, "No, you couldn't have gotten them." Like, really? And then it's building up more. So people are thinking like, "No, it's a video package. It has to be like he's probably just calling in." No, as soon as the music hits and he steps out, everyone just like collectively is just like losing their shit. So that's a big reaction that like, and I was standing ringside, so you could feel it.
Yeah,
the excitement. Like moments like that are great, especially in Tivoli. Like it was intimate, but at the same time, it was almost like we were becoming too big for the Tivoli.
yeah.
I know that sounds weird, but it's just like you could feel it because like we were slowly building that. Like, all right, we're selling out this show. We're selling out this show. We can't fit any more people. Like we're stacked to capacity. Like with like more than we should have on a couple of shows. But yeah, like it got to the point that like we have to get a bigger venue. We do.
Yeah.
That's when National Stadium came about, and then we started doing the Ringside Club. It started just getting bigger and bigger. So the Tivoli, like for all its intimacy and great memories, it just wasn't big enough to contain us anymore, as it were.
Yeah, but then when you move into the stadium, then like the one maybe thing that might be a disadvantage about it is because it's a much bigger place. The show can't be as we say edgy.
Yes. Yeah. Like obviously, it's just the way it is. As you become more mainstream, you have to kind of like adapt. And I mean, even looking back at early OTT, like the first year or the first and second year, a lot of stuff on that we could not get away with now. We could not. Like it's a no. And as you get bigger and bigger and deal with them, start becoming more popular, you have to cater to that because you're getting casual audience, you're getting hardcore audience, you're getting all these different like fan bases. So you're trying to find a nice blend of okay, they have this to appeal here, we have this to appeal, like do this, like we have bits of everything. It's a variety show now.
Did you work in the? I remember going to Andrews Lane to the Full Throttle shows. Did you work any of them?
I did. I worked all of them.
They were fucking mental, weren't they?
Yes, unfortunately, they were.
They were crazy. I remember. I can't remember. Was it Danny Butler in the main event that time? Was it, or who was it? And they went through like a load of. It was a couple of tables, thumbtacks, light bulbs.
Yes.
I think it was the first event. Was it?
No, I think it was the second.
Could have been the second.
I think Full Throttle only got like 3 shows.
Yeah, it was bloody violent, that match anyway.
Yes, that was Danny Butler against Justy.
So, yes.
Yeah, they had a very hard hitting, like a hardcore match basically.
Yeah.
Not a fan of like stuff like that. I'm not.
Not into the hardcore stuff. I'm not really either. I was just like, right, I'm going to get glass in my eyes. I better step back here a bit.
It's more just like for like the health and safety. It's just like when you're younger, you think like, oh yeah, I could do it. I could do a hardcore match. That'd be nothing. It's easy. Then when you get a bit older, you're just like, no, I don't want to be like picking like tacks out on my knee or my hand or worse, getting like shards of a vase in my head. So
yeah, you must have been kind of looking at that going, oh god, just for their own safety, really.
Because not only that as well, it's just mine as well from a selfish standpoint. It's just like I don't want to do this. Like, I don't be like counting like on tacks or like broken bays or like shards of that, because it's happened. Like, you'll go if you go and look at certain, almost like not full on hardcore stipulations, but just when we have matches that require weapons, you'll notice through the years that like I've changed how I do things. So if we happen to have like a steel tray that gets used in the ring, I'll tend to move toward that so that I can hit that when I'm going for the count, just so I don't have to touch the tacks.
Yeah.
I'll just find ways like, so I start to become smarter with how things are, but I don't. I'm not a fan of people like tearing themselves up with like light bulbs and tacks and barbed wire just for the sake of a pop.
I think wrestling has evolved anyway away from that, you know?
It has. It has and it hasn't, because like as I said before, you have like different people that have their own tastes in wrestling, and it's sadly enough like hardcore wrestling, especially like deathmatch wrestling. It's just, to me, it comes across very barbaric. I understand why it can be done, and it can be done very very well at times, but to me, it's just you're tearing yourself up for maybe 50 people or less, and what has it got you? You've gotten a GIF on the internet.
Yeah. Well, that was great to have you talking to us anyway, Niall.
That was very quick.
Yeah, it was very quick. That's what she said.
Hey!
But hopefully we'll be able to catch you in the real world soon at the show.
Hopefully.
And it was great chatting to you, man.
Likewise.
Cheers, bro.
Take care.